Hello, my name is Shitiz Srivastava and this is my podcast. So in this podcast, I wanted to talk about why. That why is a word that is most important in the life of other people. I was watching this video about of Simon Sinek, and I have also read his book, and I have also seen all his TED talks. And there's one thing that he keeps on elaborating again and again, and that he keeps asking you to find your why. Why do you want to do this thing? And he makes a diagram in those TED talks where he tells you that why the company Apple is more successful than other brands, why Steve Jobs is more successful as an entrepreneur than other people. And he says that the Apple company focuses on why rather than on how and what, and that is why they get successful. And this is what Friedrich Nietzsche, a German philosopher, has also emphasized on, that he who has a why to live can bear almost any how in his life. So basically the most important thing is, for anything that you wanted to do, is to find out the why. And why do you want to do it? Basically, if you want to become an entrepreneur or a film director or an actor or a book writer or any celebrity or anything that you wanted to become, you have to find your why, that why you wanted to do it, and that why has to have a purpose behind it. It cannot be a futile thing that changes from day to day basis. Like a lot of people would say that my why is that I want to earn a lot of fame or I want to earn a lot of money, but that is a very abstract why, and you can never get motivated by such kind of why. Your why has to be very specific and something that you can visualize and think about. Basically, once I was doing a workshop with a Dale Carnegie coach called Anthony Williams, who was from Bangalore, and we did that workshop in Lucknow when he came to Lucknow to do a workshop for 1 week. And in one of those class, he told us that he asked basically every one of us that what we wanted to become in life, and most of us said that we wanted to become this, we wanted to become great man, we wanted to become a good human being, we wanted to become a good son or a good student or a successful man. But he said these are all adjectives that you wanted to become. What you really wanted to become, you have to specify that what you really wanted to become. And what you really wanted to become, you have to say that I want to become the Prime Minister of India, I want to become the Commissioner of Police, I wanted to become a company's CEO. Now that is more specific than saying that I wanted to become a successful man. So your idea of becoming something has to be very specific, that why you wanted to become that and what you wanted to become that. But why comes first, what comes later, and how comes in the end. How you are going to achieve something is not of any concern. You will never be able to find out how you are going to do it, no matter how many books you read, no matter how many videos you see, no matter how many tutorials you will see. And I'm going to tell you that every book that has been written on success, they will help you to an extent, but most of them are scam. If any book, any success book is going to tell you this, that if you read that particular book and it tells you that there are methods to become successful, if you follow these methods you are going to become successful, like there are 48 or 50 methods that if you just follow them then you are going to become successful, then it's all bullshit. There are no such rules to become successful, there are no such methods to become successful. You just keep on doing what you love to do, and that's how you become successful. But then again comes one more point, that not everyone will find the thing that he really wants to do, that he really loves to do. A lot of people just get into something and then they start falling in love with that. Same thing happened with Steve Jobs, and I'm giving you the example of Steve Jobs because he is one of those iconic guys who figured out what he really wanted to do in life, and that was also by accident. He wasn't into this hardware thing, he wasn't into this marketing thing. It was the Steve Wozniak who was the brain behind the Apple, and he was creating all those hardwares. And Steve Jobs, the job of Steve Jobs was to basically sell those equipments, and that is what he was trying to do, and that is how he became very successful. So basically a lot of people think that Steve Jobs found iPhone, but it is not so. Steve Jobs didn't invent iPhone. Steve Jobs was just the guy who said a bunch of engineers that go and make the iPhone and I'm going to sell it. And he sold that. He just said to them that he wanted a perfect equipment. He just wanted there has to be one button. Like in BlackBerry there was used to be an entire quality keyboard, which was very irritating to use basically. So he just wanted one equipment in which there will be one button and an entire screen will have a touch response, and he wanted that, and he achieved it with the help of those bunch of engineers. But the basic thing that he did was, but the most important thing that he did was that he created the why inside the mind of people. If you watch his lecture in 2007 when he launched the first iPhone, then you will see that he introduces it with a very interesting curiosity. He says that I'm going to present you 3 equipments today. One is going to have internet in him, another is a phone, and third is a or something like that. So there were 3 equipments that he was going to introduce that day, and he was smiling, and everyone knew why he was smiling. He was smiling because he was going to introduce only one equipment, and every of the thing that he has told you is going to be part of that. So that was the most brilliant thing about that, because he created the curiosity, he created the whole paraphernalia of entertainment around the event that he has created. Most of the CEOs who try to launch their product are not able to create the curiosity inside the mind of people. One thing that you will notice about the company Apple is that they never brag about the RAM, they never brag about the processor. It's only recently after Tim Cook took over that they started bragging about the configuration of the laptop or the configuration of the iPhone, just because they're in the competition with Samsung and they think that this is the right thing to do. They even introduced the stylus, and it only came after Tim Cook took over, because Steve Jobs didn't like a stylus. Steve Jobs didn't like to hold any pen and write on the mobile phone. He found it tremendously irritating, and he has this philosophy that he didn't like anything, then other people wouldn't like that as well. So basically his process of doing something was inward to internal to external. Basically he would think that what he would like to do, and then he would put that in front of the people and say that this is the most convenient thing that I love. Basically he always emphasized on this philosophy that if he makes a product, then he has to be the first one to like it. He has to like the product to sell it. If he is not liking the product, how can he sell it? How he will never be convinced enough to tell other person to buy it. And that's why most of the salespeople never get successful in their life. It's because they do not have the trust in their products. Have you met those dictionary salesmen? They don't even read dictionary. They don't even have good vocabulary. They don't even go through the book before they actually sell it. They don't have the passion to sell the dictionary, because just because they don't have this enough knowledge about this the product that they have, they don't have the enough interest in their product, they don't have this complete confidence in the product, and that is why they are unable to sell it. You can sell anything that you want to if you just put enough confidence in your product, and for that you need to know as much about the product as possible. And for that you also need to know why you are selling the product. Because is that product going to make you rich? Is that product going to give you fulfillment of life? Is that product going to give you a lot of fame in life? Is that product going to make you the salesman of the year? Whatever your goal is, you have to first specify that, because having a why in your life gives you a purpose in life, and once you get the purpose in life, you get motivated to move ahead and start doing it. Most of the time we don't even have that why in our life, and that's why we are demotivated. Because what happens is that if you figure out anything that you really wanted to do in life, you will do it for a few days, you might do it for a few hours, but after that the process becomes boring, because every process, anything that you will get into it, after a while it will become a repetitive process and you will stop enjoying it. Everything like if there are 100 steps to achieving anything, then the first 10 steps are the most interesting ones, but after that there are 90 steps that are most boring, but you have to conquer them. And that's where the love for something comes in, and that's where the why that you have is going to help you. The why is going to give you the motivation to keep on continuing despite you losing interest in that particular thing. But you have to keep moving on. Like I'm making vlogs right now, I'm making podcasts right now, and I don't have any motivation because I'm not getting enough views, I'm not getting any money for all this, but I'm just doing it. Why? Because I have my why. And my why is that I wanted to become a good public speaker. I wanted to talk and I want people to listen to me. And that is my why. That is why I'm making the vlogs, and that is why I'm putting too much effort into it, so that I can say something and people will listen to it. I also want to improve my English through my English podcast. That's why I have separate channel for making vlogs and a separate channel for making my podcast, which I also upload on my vlog channel. But the whole idea behind doing this thing is that I have a why in my life, and this is why I'm doing it. So you have to find your why. So basically this was one thing that was missing. I'm basically a film director, so I made 2 films, and in both of the films, the reason why I wanted to make those films was that I wanted to become a film director. But that was very abstract. There was no specific why I wanted to make those films. Just because I had those stories lying at my laptop, and there was someone who was ready to help me to make them, and there was some finance that came through me. And someone wanted to become an actor, and he forced me to become to make the film, and I made that film. And I won't call it my film basically, because I don't think I had my complete heart into that film. And when I made my second film, I wanted to make the second film because I thought I will miss the producer if I won't make my second film. And it's very difficult to find a producer in Mumbai for your film. So basically I made my second film because I wanted to not lose the producer. he had the money, and I knew that he was losing his money in other films, and he was finding other people who have found out that he has money. And once a producer arrives in Mumbai and people come to know that he has a lot of money, like vultures, they hang on with him, and they want him to put money into their own ventures. And I knew, and I was doing the same thing, and I knew that he has the money, he has a little bit of money that I wanted from him, and he was spending a lot of money for other projects, but I just wanted a little money for my own film, because last film that I didn't work out. But still, in desperation, I made my second film. There was no why involved. The why was a desperation that I wanted to make a film, and I thought that just because I have made a film, something miraculous is going to happen, and my life is going to get changed, and people will start calling me film director. But the worst started to happen after I made my second film. My entire life collapsed, and there was only black in front of me. And at that time, I had to find the why I wanted to make the film, why I wanted to become the film director, why do I need to tell the story? If there's a story that I wanted to tell, why I need to tell the story? So I met this man somewhere who was a film critic, and he told me that, you need to have a message in your films. And I thought that that's not necessary. There are films that has no message, like there are abstract films by Louis Buñuel, and there's so many film directors like Andy Warhol. Andy Warhol used to make idiotic films, and those films are very known and famous. And those films didn't have any message. Those are abstract films. But later in my life, I realized that what he meant by message was that when a filmmaker starts to make his film, he needs to have that message inside his own mind. He needs to know that why is he making that film, and that becomes the most important part of filmmaking. That you need to know about your why. And just because I'm a filmmaker, I keep shifting from entrepreneurs to filmmaking, because I have more experience of filmmaking than of being an entrepreneur. I'm not an entrepreneur. I haven't started a company. I have never started a company. I have worked in 1 or 2 companies, but there's nothing that I learned about making the companies. And the idea of starting a company does not excite me. Idea of creating something, that excites me. But the thing is, I have to find the why. And I suggest you that if you want to do something, if you want to make a story, if you want to become a film director, if you want to become an actor, if you want to become an entrepreneur, find a why. Till the time you haven't found the why, keep on doing what you're doing, because there are chances that what you are doing will interest you in the later time. So what happens with human minds is that if they keep on doing something for a very longer period of time, they start falling in love with that. But for that, they have to consciously keep on doing it with their uttermost sincerity. Like a lot of people that I meet are from government jobs, and those people who are working in government jobs don't even like their jobs, and every day they keep tripping about these things that they don't like their job, and the more they say that they don't like their job, the more they start hating their job. They don't like it, and they start suffocating in them. And that's what's happening with everyone, because today what is happening is that everyone thinks that others' life is more beautiful than their own lives. There are people, like recently I saw on Twitter that there was a guy who was posting pictures of his house in Himachal Pradesh, Dalhousie, and he was living in Dalhousie, and there was greenery everywhere, and there was mountains everywhere, and it looked beautiful. Definitely looked beautiful. But can everyone live in Dalhousie? Can everyone have this much money to just buy a house in Dalhousie and just live there forever without even earning anything? You won't have that much, I think, employment in Dalhousie. We cannot all become Ruskin Bond and start working and earning money through that. No, we can't do that. So basically, you have to find your why, and should not be distracted by the other people, should not be distracted by the circumstances, external circumstances, definitely. And you have to focus internally that why you are doing something that you are doing. And trust me, if you just find out the why, that why you are doing something, you will figure out the how. The how will appear in front of you. It is like a miraculous thing. It is like a God's thing. I don't know whether there is any superpower or not, but if there is any superpower, it will help you to figure out your how. You do not have to worry about how you are going to do it, how you are going to become film director, how you are going to become a billionaire, how you are going to become an entrepreneur, how you are going to become a stock investor, how you are going to become a politician. You don't even have to worry about that. You just have to decide that you are going to become that, and you have to find the purpose that why you want to become that, and be as much enthusiastic and motivated about it as much as you can. And then the things will start to change for you. So on this note, I just want to end this podcast, and we'll meet in next podcast very soon. तब तक के लिए मिलते हैं जल्दी. Bye bye.